The world market price has dropped significantly. As a result of that, effective today, the new producer price will now be 41,392 Ghana cedis per ton and 2,587 Ghana cedis per bag.
Yes, my phone, you know, kwaba ibiom emma jumadi so after set cocoa bosu tea na finance minister ebedin komo bebre no abusia en komo freche banesawani ensesa me ena me kacho akuafo ne bibuo fu ebi nso se dabi se aban ne beto so na watimi ato ade ama wo mu a eye ne kwaso ano sanse okopiem ewo abanoni a cocoa ne boso ate ewo hoba quick one en komo bebre ena kaso ewo oman Ghana MPP amanyuko no so wo mu din komo amo say his excellency John Mahama enena ban ehye Ghana for bo se oba cocoa no orebeko 6,000 nanso se me no kase eso ti say hu akwa say high sense no balansa na no yenko na yenkotie nkomo a finance minister ato forson edi na abusua nkomo no chi no information bi sheche ento de yenkomra ekoba iyebedi nkomo papa.
The current situation is largely driven by the unwillingness of buyers to purchase Ghana's cocoa because it has become uncompetitive and very expensive. Cocoa from other producing countries is now selling at a price significantly lower than that of Ghana's producer price. Meanwhile, Cocoa Board did not have the liquidity to purchase cocoa from farmers and stock for hedging or other trading decisions. This was due to the financing model invented in the year 2024-2025, when the syndicated loan failed. Under that model, the buyers financed the purchase. By 2022, Cocoa Board finances had deteriorated badly. It defaulted and restructured the cocoa bills in the year 2023. For the first time in the history of the cocoa industry, in 2023, the annual syndicated suffered significant delays due to the loss of confidence in the Ghanaian economy and the sector. The first tranche was received on 22nd December 2023, 4 months after the commencement of the season. Cocoa Board projected an output of 800,000 tons and committed 786,672 tons in contracts in 2023 and 2024 crop season. However, actual production was 432,145 tons, a deviation of over 45% from the projected output. The world market price has dropped significantly from the average of 7,200 tons to 4,100 per ton, making Ghana's cocoa beans uncompetitive and creating liquidity challenges. To address this, the Producer Price Review Committee, PPRC, met this afternoon under my chairmanship to assess the challenges facing the sector and review the producer price for the remainder of the 2025-2026 crop year. In order to cushion the farmer, the PPRC has recommended that the farmer be paid 90% of the achieved gross FOB of $4,200 per ton to mitigate the adverse impact on the farmer as a result of the fall in the world market price. As a result of that, the PPRC thereby announces that effective today, Thursday, 12 February 2026, the new producer price for the remainder of the 2025-2026 crop season will now be 41,392 Ghana cedis per ton and 2,587 Ghana cedis per bag. This measure has become necessary to reflect the reality of the world market price of cocoa, ensure the injection of immediate liquidity for expedited payment of farmers, and guarantee the sustainability. Cabinet has also directed that beginning from 2026 to 2027 crop season, a minimum of 50% of all cocoa beans should be processed locally. And this will be part of the Cocoa Board bill going to Parliament. Pursuant to this, the state-owned cocoa processing company, CPC, will be revived as a matter of priority to become the leading processor of Ghana's cocoa beans. I've also, this morning, together with my colleague, the Minister responsible for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, met with domestic cocoa processors cutting across the private sector who have indicated that they have the capacity and the willingness to process more than 50% of Ghana's cocoa beans going forward. Cabinet also directed the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years. And I repeat, Cabinet also directed the Office of the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years.
Okay, Commander.
Yeah, Director.
Finally.
Yeah.
Cocoa no a bonus swate.
Of course.
Na Ghana for 18 komo.
Okay.
A crafoni be say His Excellency John Mahama.
Okay.
Waya dear papa sansa omu cocoa no omu tia. Woman yatofo and woman talk. And the woman to cocoa no bebre. Now Susikani wa abine de beto.
Of course.
If you say that be John Mahama say Ghana for but say cocoa no oba MPP for Ghana for.
Yeah.
6,000 and at one beto no edu kwa train at to force in video aba woman change munti almost woman disappointed. If you say that be a no kwaso no ba quick one and come finance minister edi. Iye come
Well, Roger, Mammy was in the first place. Nothing. Yen check for now. Yen shall say new because and come away, complicated.
So finally, if I say cocoa one bag, no.
Yeah.
Now a 3,006.
Of course.
And can that Canada no 36 million.
Yeah.
Is it about 25 million?
Of course.
Which is 2005.
Yeah.
Any EBITDA. To the empire say 2006.
Yeah.
One bag, no.
Of course.
Yeah.
Rekabe 13 cities. Now 2006.
But then, sir, a super
Okay.
Na ye benya tofo dia say I think say can also a good move. And say ye better tiagu na ye nya tofo.
Director, any one aspect of it.
Yeah.
But obi nso beka say ebo no ejina fa akodada. Koko nye ade ti say ntos no aka say ekoba Ghana ha de. De enim ni say koko bo yetuma yatum ba bi ejina no ensign achi. Now ebi concern no but also concern no one major concern na akuafo ni bi nso ka so koko no mate makokari yenye sika mame. Enti mentwen kosi daben say ebo no na so bete a Director aban nye bold enough na ontisu no ntwe sika maye na ye hu say koko no actually ebo we ni deserve ye sika nkam
because I cocoa farmers ni be say
okay
wo me ko school a wo nye sika kwa mfama wo
of course
ebi mo makọ nursing training enti His Excellency John Mahama ne na ban wo ko tina ase no na wo say wo mo tebuo no so no mo timi to cocoa no
Director say
cocoa farmers wo mo to wo because I want so a enkanena na cocoa amanfo so go de Cote d'Ivoire no yes Cote d'Ivoire de no board din sin Ghana de no enti no mo de Cote d'Ivoire
of course
but na Ghana de no board din sin Cote d'Ivoire de Cote d'Ivoire for atro mo de so enti ye tie cocoa so a e de ne kasa bebrebe
Director but issue we no no when say you can a very good point here a name pono Togo for suspect say Togo for no smuggle cocoa bagana ebeton because Ghana price no e was soro it's a very good point but assembly nyina say what a baby e ba begina enani e gina nkwanta me no so enkomo we no one side e political because NDC oppositioner okwakuafo ho a o asema oka ebe cocoa kwani de NPP oppositioner okwakuafo ho a o asema oka ebe cocoa kwani de
but atofo sinsema oka say that time because a cocoa one bag you turn 6,000 no yen hwa de that time na dollar da say dollar na 17 cedis
okay
but and dollar na 10 cedis
Director winim san komo no maye ho calculation kakra wa
cocoa ne $1 dollars
Director $1 na in December 2024 na uko world market on average na cocoa 1 ton no $11,000 ene kakra na 1 ton bia no e wom about 16 bags over Ghana ha said you trying 34 kilos per one bag no enti se enei omo koto na kire say one bag bia no as at that time $712 in the $712 there Director say odiba bedru Ghana ha na Ghana cocoa kwani ni cocoa one bag ekoton no abani benya 10,000 10,000 Ghana cedis and 466 Ghana cedis
10,000 Ghana cedis no that time na MPP for no me fa so mo time omutua 3001 okay
mo entisa 3001 no asada te yakoton a ebenya 10400 ena enei koko ne price better aba around 3800 to $4000 enti sa 3800 to $4000 no enei the same 16 bags na eye 1 ton no but when just one bag bia no benya $237
okay
now $237 and a dollar no a rate 10 cities 90 pesos now 10 cities 90 pesos no over 2583 Ghana cedis nti ne se fa kokko kwani ni kokko bag baako every Ghana e small bi say koton one bag ne nko abra okoton a obenya 2583 Ghana cedis enti difference ye woman say the what say kokko ne ton 64 kilos
meba yenye ne simple na ahefo no obi wo ntiase me kan say enkane no na world market no that time na dollar either 17 cedis no kokko no ye koton na mononia na one bag bia no abai no enya 10,000 Ghana
and
at that time no mo be ton 3001
okay
enti o 3001 every 10,000 mu a ebeka say 6009 enti that time na abai no nya 6009
of course
dem try what here and at this time no the same dollar no so tie no ema o man no ye kom han ye no
koko ne price ne so eso asate wa brutre
aba meba koko ne price no aba 2500 and ye and I buy no so say da bi say world market ne yekoton ho na dollar no so ate ne convert ba na 2005
okay
o ba no dwene ye ho eti ontimi san te so maye o de maye sa enti nka ye beka nka we no ye
the kwama ye ebo na pepepe
de you rate the percentage a
the enti enei atofo sinka hyem se omo to no 90% but NPP dia no the that time na 10,400 cedis njeche se na ebeka kakra bi ansa na do 70% the enti enei obi a oyisu percentage no o calculator kire na e kire se enne aban ni ma akuafo a higher percentage memo because of exchange rate in dollar no and amana ba bidu say ena koko ne bo na ayefo abrochen because 1 ton $11,000 na enne 1 ton about $4,000 ya e just say koko e swate more than 50%
na ne obi so say nia den na mo hwe ma dollar iba fom
mo eno ye one problem
say kam ma dollar no da 17 cedi wa
I agree, but when my dear Bako, Nkoma Bako say a careful assembly and assembly eya. But me personally, I am here because we shall bra a careful bra. They don't deserve to say, Omubenya hope, na Gideon no Munyano, yes, I Gideon at Wogu, and near your careful, you almost say. Kuania on Timmy Sidine at this stage of a chance yesterday because first no I buy wolf for so I buy mom fertilizer but a bonus costro send ne bonus I was through now I buy mom fertilizer a good small more or save a lot of money and Yama wife Sidine all of a sudden and Yama Boba form no Coco no bonus over form and most of a crafono or me are disappointed in the government and not yet the Obi and Timmy taken away from that.
But my question is, I didn't know education no encoso. I didn't remember me and find politics because I'm an no say esotia womutia
of course
ekosura womutia but as a Ghana nko ade se koko no kosura yes enisa samba na
chibie but the problem back no but ninyina kam komode nti sa de o kan yi right based on education no enkomo a omudi yi any cabinet nkoma to forson ebobo ne tofa ekire yi right de ewom nyina ne se enne cocoa prices no enya de a aban be sore se chinchina chia me force cocoa prices on Ghanaians but de ebe ne se cocoa prices no ye be regulate ne se de cement esitie ye be regulate say the fuel esitie enti enne dollar ne kosoro fuel be kosoro dollar ba form fuel be ba form say fuel ne bo eye fuel world market ya fuel so beti say ekwaso world market so beti enti enne omo ayi shoes hade no as part of bill na omo de ko parliament no enti say koko ne bo no e free afi we ko aban no wato awie say odua ka wie after this no no credit say dollar no cost e go do 15 cedis ya the rate ye be fine 90% of the price no na ye de amakuafo so what me point because in ye 90% the rate but in the near future no kura wo nyina ne say obi ye campaign na on kai say idea we idea e cause problem to the new government e ba ye and say we ye campaign na o kan won sema be emphatic ye nyina enim say cocoa prices e so te e cost
me atofo sinsama that time o ye campaign atofo sinsama o kan ya o mafa video no mo de trending no o kire mu say the babia dollar aduri
of course
any world market the omotoni e wo senka ye to cocoa no 6000 eti okasa o wangasa I want to come to cocoa no 6000 okasa babia world market amonone the omokoto cocoa no me fa say ne boy
din wo ho
enti ko cocoa no so boy din wa ha say
na director because idea turn 11000 na say eba 4000 e was so tie say niam ne bo no say ayefo ye nto
na say so de tie na cocoa no ai wo mo ma meto ne say cocoa no ne bo ayefo e na mo Ghana no mo nko cocoa ne bo den
mo enti obi beto wa ha na o check price obeto no Ghana ha o de beko Togo
na wo anka beto
mo o de beko Ivory Coast
na nya ne say China fo niam adoso no o de kofa niam Europe o kofa niam America ne bo den ne so obeko China no obenya idea no bo form obeko China kofa
mo enti better enei as a result of this year ye tue 90% e de amakuafo no 10% na aka no enu bi ne yedi ba begu afo no so yedi ba beto fertilizers e de amakuafo no but aban ni ntimi mfa no nya excuse
dina we say na aban no nya mfa so bia
better aban ni the only ade aban ni benya wom ye nya nim say cocoa no omu ton a omu ton 64 kilos per bag but initially o de kwa mono ne a e 62 kilos ena omu susu no nteche say every one bag bia no 2 kilos eda so a eno be kokoko board ho better wey sika kakra aban benya transportation any niema bebreba kokoko board fo no omu so ye ne ho ne sika ne beko but as a result of cocoa na ye nto no say abu ne buofo obi ampe enti aban no san de hyem and atofos ye emphatic say no local producers no omo hia cocoa e dey o madwuma Ghana ha no we are giving them not less than 50%.
Okay eno no yenwura opreko me mfa ne say atofos de tudwa say cocoa no ye ba be chem yamba ne say de ye betoto na fini nyina ne ye be chem mienu ye be ye ba ko yankase ha
of course
it's 50% ne ya ne ye be ya de na ye die milo ene ya ye be process ya de na 50% ne ye de akakwa amono ne
mo director unim atofo si di sankom no de e convince ma me hu say cocoa na ya te so no enya aban ne kwa pe no tete so ne bi but atofo sin say omo engage minister or in charge ema minister no ehia private companies no ene omo di nkono so omo ye interested omo capacity 50% or more of your cocoa no omo abetima process adani ani dia ye adwuma but ene ye omo ye interested no say omo to no sa 3006 na omo beboka aban ni nso so to cocoa na ye nto ntaban ni pese ene ye nte so ma wo mo na ye nto mfa ma wo mo no mo process ade no ha and aside negotiation cabinet ko ye no how many companies nso di nkomo ena companies nso gitum so ye nso ye interested ye beye but say ye ka bo ni gina soro say bo no so ante a ombede no mato and as a result of that the writer enei ye kokwa ye kwakotua ka to force nse aban ahye cocoa board say with immediate effect cocoa bia o mato africa ni ho a omuntua ne ka no omunya full payment no omuntua cocoa ni nyina ka no serata sa cocoa na omu betua ka no ye di cocoa no more than 50% e be ma ye local manufacturers no na omu adane ani e de aye adwuma
eno kwa be sa create employment
mo enti enei sa wo check ye cocoa no na ye turn more than 70% more than 80% e de kwa mo no ne enti omu ye producers so ha no say ne omo more than 50% ya na je so ombetima 60% or more the right ebasa omo workers no age say omo expand omo space omo de adwuma age say omo biem say de ebe ya omo betima ya adwuma nti jobs asema ye ka no jobs ni no at the end of the day the right exportation na ye ka say ya wo say export to niema no say ya ye products na wie na neighboring countries ya omo ko export cocoa powder every amonone ba no say ye de ne ye papa me nyini se Burkina pe cocoa powder na Ghana wo bi na ye papa obetwema ko China ko export e de akoho eno nso e ye for the cocoa prices any omo ye manufacturers no
baran ai na krono a MP before no boy 8 years no say to forson kasa fa ho
of course
san kofo no say attorney general anya dey onye nhwemu
director o say unse o san repeat ye na ti say ho hia no
ene we dey mpe go slow bia wo
director na ho no one problem ba ko NDC aban no any cocoa board mpanifo no omanye due diligence omo ko die omanye adwuma director cocoa board as a sector esinki egu na mo aba na mo adwan kire mo say yemfa ni brenko ye forensic audit na yenhu problem se wo ho na mo twakira kwada
na mentiase no
asem siwie ye no afi na madwan ba mo so say eni obi e wadi boni ho bia no afi de ye nche no enti sa asem ansi ama pressure amade a obi e wadi sika bia no kamo be jana mana ko free
because enya ntiase within 8 years 2016 to 2024 MP for no mbokro no wo papa enti we say no se ko we say kwa ntiase
because the right time common bi wo ho a odwene ho a ontiase eneyi enkoma omudi on forensic audit any attorney general nkomo no ye pese ye hu bibi won because omo die omo anya adwuma enti se ne bibi asi na kanya omo a omo ma ye nti omo ka in the first place the right cocoa board for according to forson omo the Bank of Ghana ka e ka omo the Bank of Ghana any a car omo the Ministry of Finance the right okay ka kan boma e over 10 billion Ghana cedis enei forson say because cocoa board ni yanhwa ebegu enti yem pushi sa kan mfan free ho because say omo de kase ya obi am pene say oye investor no mbekwa akoye adwuma yen so pese local investors no edi wo mko chem enti yem pushi ka no mfan ko Ministry of Finance any Bank of Ghana enti all of a sudden Ministry of Finance nkoye hwe Bank of Ghana nkoye hwe ye pushi eka over 10 billion Ghana cedis edi akoto wo so say wo mka
road ministry sa koko rosu no
mo
nya no so ma chama untumi bi kura no wa discount
anye director minimba ko in Ashanti regional ukopiem ahafo no southeast ye frɛ ba bi sabronum na omo ye kwan de firi ho akɔ abɔfo offense side ho director ekwan no allegedly omo awodum achama untumi eye koko road ebesi ne omo anye kwan no enti se mu wie na koko road so na eka ne about 21 billion Ghana cedis ene nei Bank of Ghana ni cocoa body ye hyehyeye ena mo clear kan bi free ho ena eka na ba beka about 6 billion Ghana cedis sa eka no etim ho mo se ne yemfa kan nkoma road minister na road minister ni big push sika ya wagi e ode ai ma contractors eni agi on santity sika no so na onfa bi emetua sa koko rosu kwan no onfa metua ka se wodi betua ka dia obi a wadi sika ni bibia no eni so cost got free but aside that when ye enyema nko ho omo operational duties any nyema omo ye cocoa board ho different allowances are omo je enyema omo ye ho a lot of ekaba beto sector no but obi a no hobia no omo hold accountable
omo nyanhwe because we say no a top decision me say enka ye kwakoto abanka 2028 na duru ne ekoto aba enka ye dan decision we a bold decision me dia meka ne se me metiase
of course
but me ma me bia wan ko school me na bi ne me papa bia wan ko school because me busuafo nyina e founders me papa mo bia okoko me me twa tiase me tiase but me papa de on tiase ya se na be ka tre
rata ontimi nka bibia nkyerɛ ma ne nyeye dia obetiase no obetiase but omo ne ekitwa bi
tiase so mate chinkofo bia gum me on
sase ne nyina no so obi adi koko sika ya kwaji bisase beto koko in 2017 MPP office na syndicated loan ayaje 1.8 billion Ghana cedis rata na 1.8 billion dollars na yaje sika no na MPP aba power na enei cocoa board ka enam over 31 billion na wo ka kire me say koko kwani no enye wono no negligence enama e ka beto ho unim say saka cocoa board enne ka me ka kire wo say enne ka ban no onti koko no so e wo say price na ba form kat Kauba manage say odi ko wo sika ni be cover
o ga say John Mahama ne na ba ma dimi ana
mo
dabio me se sa de we wo ho meeting upon meeting on my yen wo ho no
na brother utie
omo te ade no so no enye omo pe o
utie komo na o say meeting we no a very tough meeting a meeting na ano odene utie say within cabinet no na mpanifo ni bi empene so they were not okay because this is a decision ebema aban no aye unpopular enei omo ana omo bo aban na ba so say koko akuafo yate enuro ide we afuo so yate sekan bo so yate niema bo so no rota de same akuafo no enei koko ni bo no eso atihwi enti kuani no die na aban na ye sonko in 1 year ede ma no this is the argument but baby am gyina nie Rebecca this issue nyina de me major concern is say ato forson Agric minister any koko woni mampani John Mahama omo nyina combine no Rebecca one omanye due diligence and two communication no enya papa before say komo beti bo no so no Rebecca they should communicate with kuafo no omo ne omo nkasa butremu a ema kuafo na koma nto omo yam because the minister of information be ka kire say makoye meeting after meeting few hours later your better finance minister nka yen any akuafo no ya dwe ye say oba be ka kire say omo di sikaba
say we say no omo kona akuafo nim senka koko no ye ba betu anase ke begina wa na bandi sikaba to
of course tan obi adwe ye because minister na be ka kire say ye wie meeting no na ye wie no enche mo better finance minister nka enti obi adwe ne say finance minister de sika no okoyi aba all of a sudden finance minister by also sikane de aba nemum ye the new prices aba ye reduce ade about 1,000 Ghana the better so ye communication say ya obi a odowo no the better wo odo no so ti ubu na bam next time omunye communication ye no omunye due diligence but NPP for no so a omani ajo omunye de don omun negligence any incompetent omudi manage kokko sector no ene na de aba bedru ha
quick one commander we ehia tienya butre nkotie Deputy Finance Minister, what chimti a one year say quacotia de nasi, and Jimmy Short Tawason, not Jacunya, not and someone. Deputy Finance Minister Abrosono Absha, if I so tell me because as I dear no, I can T. Yankutin someone or they are to running commodity.
Lines any deputy minister in charge of finance, any and Como, on one society, member of parliament for the people of Esuojaman constituency, the Honorable Thomas Ampem Nyako, Abekayan Sawa Homane. So, Honorable Akwabe Kosi saying Sony.
Yeah, ni amini ana hote den.
Adom na unswe.
Boko na me ka se me unia o. Emre ama me ko se on kan me ka.
No, this is a big man. We a big man. Ba me jini sa pomu ye de.
Ya me adom.
Yes, Emra Yenina, the government communications minister, Eweti Yenina appetite, and they train in Sama boss, the finance minister, Erebaba Betuja. Yenya we dear confirm my on Okase Koko na Akano abain beto, but a buono ena mwateso, sanity.
Sanity na in two folds. One will say, cocoa ni biwaha about 50,000 tons. Say, one atodeda na ewo cocoa board in some. Now so when ya entong ma wanga eto cocoa ifi cocoa board in chain. Aban I say sa cocoa di na one tiaka at the rate na ye tono currently no. Okay. And the car by $150 million and a buy say wa fast akano. If you say 50,000 tons of cocoa no, cocoa farmers no deliver the down. And a buy say and yeah fair so we better call cocoa farmers or agricultural so it's on the say cocoa bro aba feminine yenya atofo nti sa kokoro no yentia wo sabo no enti eno ye first category na in fact
metiasie ya honorable me pacho eno ye omo a submit omo kokoro a ye ma won receipt no say aha sankofo ne de mo betua omo at the price na mo ton dada no right which is the 3,625 Ghana cedis per bag no
pepe.
Okay.
Na near say it's an say cocoa the board aba famunti. Cocoa board enya atofo. Yang price na enya competitive. Enti sa cocoa na abedi cocoa board for nsem no wonti mento. If you say price na ye ne ekuafo edi ano say ye de be ma wo no. The price on the world market na confirm a enti obia enye. Inti abai se yentimi enhwe inti enra wo call cabinet no President Mahama ne impending force enyaba inti Dr. Atufo call na ko hwehwe sika no difference ne about $150 million nti hwehwɛ sika no na farmer cocoa board wonti me mfantia akuafo no ka na eno achi no akuafo no bi nso wo cocoa wo ha eno wonya enton ye ema cocoa board
yes
eno nkomo na yesan edi that second category of cocoa no na yede new price aba if you say ene wo share the world market price of cocoa na akofem nti yentimi and sustaining the current price no na obi so obeha enche na PPRC Asia na wo adjust the price abre no na yeni anoma e wo Cote d'Ivoire no wo be call election na wo me hu se wo to won cocoa mu wo hwe Ghana Cote d'Ivoire Togo esa me say yam borders e porous intino bribia prices no difference bebe mu kakra no na smuggling ko bebia price no e wosoro enti Cote d'Ivoire for a peja one price mo no em ye hu say si anye bribia Ghana cocoa na wo border towns ni nyina no wan sha wo be smuggle dey akọ nti committee ne tena ase no wo hweye and then world market price and exchange rate no until I say yamfa kakra enka ho ema ekuafo and na sa na world price no abafem no na ehia say ye hwe sele be ya e kana e mini cocoa board no ento aso enti no ho announcement and following the cabinet meeting na emergency cabinet meeting na wo frey no wo retimi aka ho asem na obi enye eno nko a enye price no nko a ho asem ene
meaning said there are other reforms something about reforms this no for clarity into meaning say first category of farmers because farmers be bring na 8 year no omo de omu cocoa ama cocoa board dada cocoa board ema receipt say ombetua wo ka no wono wobenya price na aban air ton dada which is 3,625 omo de na be 50,000 metric tons. The second category omu cocoa omu nyamfa mai kra na afi na wode e ba omo no projection no e be saying na aka 70,000 80,000 metric tons.
Projection no who say say afi ni project about 650,000 metric tons.
Sure.
What the 50,000 na akamuna cocoa board aje de dano eka ni awon tia ka de dana na say aka 70,000 metric tons.
Na abayeti me
projection no at 70,000 metric tons at this crop season no ye hope say a war kuafo cocoa farmers wa they beba.
Okay inti enono na was say aban say 70,000 metric tons na aka no aban beto bag bia 2,587.
That is correct.
Good. Inti say ohwe 2,587 oti free 3,625 nimua ebeka 1,038 meaning say aban ate 1,038 Ghana cedis ene de every so say ode 1,038 multiply 70,000 amount 72.6 million Ghana cedis eno enye sika anka aban ebetimi enya ede aso cocoa board asen said the bear omonte price eso honorable
Minia Mediation Control say there is already $150 million de aswa yang ato forson kopesa sikano na farmer cocoa board no ntimi emfa enye na ebeye ding say on the abai budget no you betimi accommodate higher na the danger cry na say minia obi mediation control say yam borders no in such a way say cocoa price cost ro Cote d'Ivoire. Na SSC a peso Jafone ade ebo ho ka call share smuggling na na whole insensem. There is also reverse smuggling na cost sesia intel ayenya na say so say Cote d'Ivoire cocoa bo abafem na Ghana de wosoro. Eso say Ghana cocoa bo wosoro esin Togo nti ama cocoa efi those areas na eba aban ekoso subsidize ya ye be subsidize cocoa efi neighboring countries. The record ayenya etrese oti ene voter importem ho 2024 cocoa season no mo ni ayenya nyina was 97 metric tons no enne yenya more than 2,000 metric tons if you more than 200%. Wow, inti maybe 200%. Just say from 97 to in excess of 2,000 metric tons. Inti and not show clearly. So it's on the say prices now so no. Cocoa if those areas in the realm near the taxpayers seeker near the best subsidize ama cocoa kuafobia one so ewo omamfufuro. We cannot continue to do that. And nunti na assemba kwa bra yeshia committee PPRC for
yes
cocoa farmers rep no ya attaching say minister munim say asoma mo kana yete ase nyina you follow the world market price you nim exchange rate no sani akọ ene ehunsu so ne ade now so amoni ni ye ha na yete say world market price no kosro na exchange rate no so favor mo frey ene metana so enka so say si ade ayeye nti ene yenye no say na mo nko amote ho na mo de ye niema mo pese mo de ye na se niema no kofam na editi ade a na mo frey say afa de editi nti mo mra ne entena say na yenye yi. And it was a fair statement. And then President Mahama and then the cabinet here and ran was say, look, yentimi and to also any say, and yen deregulate, yen making sure that the core parliament next week at the new cocoa board bill, alcohol parliament. Na Ghana representatives see Ashe Sa Mrano say cocoa bia ye betono the FOB price no 70%. Or how much at your song minimum and cocoa farmers. Enti cocoa farmers betting your planet, sending a never to go there. Now we'll calculator share the world market price now what they year calculation. So fee your passes amrana cocoa farmers also be calculator. Or to say world market price of cocoa, aqua price where or no betting in the calculation. I will say, so I could say, or how much your song at this exchange rate, say, na SSA ebamiho. Inti kosroa, onimse, ononso, ne sika ebe kosro. Bafemwa, onimse, ononso, ni sika ebe bafem. Send ye beya, ye be nya fair treatment, na abua obia. Enuechi, obi. Ya, debiya fibra ye ko school na. You see, say value addition, and a Ghana there exporting raw materials, and Mwayen Obia what's in our classroom that in him Sadi, Obi on to our classroom credit. Now so into one among and Nunti and as part of the reforms, and in fact, the 70,000 tons na aka na say cocoa board and to and Anopeya Dr. Forson and the Minister for Trade, Asia, local processors of cocoa, CPC, both public and private processors of cocoa. And I also Amia who said they have the capacity. Ding any will be to media process young cocoa no. And I say as I say a boy here, bra cocoa board, elusu access to the market. Entina syndicated loan now for over in Ebiasa na yɛkɔgye bosia na yɛde abɛtɔ cocoa na ayɛ ayi na wɔntimi anya biom no ɛma wo device new method a mo nyinaa mo nim wɔgye sika efi wɔn a pɛsɛ wɔtɔ cocoa beans no hɔ na wɔde ama ne atɔ cocoa no ne yɛde ama wɔn yɛfii saa ase no ɛma yɛ local processing companies ne ade a wɔnni sika na wɔde bɛpre finance no affected one greatly. Inti ohaw yabai every misfortune no there is an opportunity. Inti share in share betimi aye near the cocoa board better cocoa no de as President Mahama akano or say a minimum of 50% or how much chichemwedu enco local processors. Inti from the next cocoa season 2026-2027 cocoa season no Ishishaya abai ayane say ye talk cocoa na a minimum of 50% ebe call for local processing. And no beboa ama inyuma aba. CPC betimi afa more workers if you say wobenya beans na wa process it. And then the problem with our local processor and yes they don't have the capacity. But wonya cocoa beans no wetimi process it. It is is a deliberate policy. Aban epesoye send ya young local processors no ebetimi enya beans no why na obi bisa say nti sika no wan cocoa board be den wanya sika na wode ato beans no na ye de mu ohamu nchichemu aduonum ana na ye brosa ama your local processors enunti ni ayese etasi clean cocoa board ohoma na one balance sheet eye kronyenga obetimi akọ market na wakọ bobosia na wetimi ede ayewo nyuma enti ekabi a cocoa board ede aban Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana. In fact yebo won bosia de tua won kabi a no wode 3.7 billion cedis enunti ya yese ye fa sa kano Bank of Ghana then so in excess of 1 billion, about 1.3 billion dollars. Inti wenum ni na ukaboma more than 5 billion dollars sakano ya yese yeje yefa efi cocoa board ho na yeyi eno efi won nhumemu a ebeboa ama won balance sheet IFS na wetimi akọ market no wetimi abobose a neka no enisro bebre enu echi wonim say maybe a chemu na cocoa board adane wo Ministry of Roads and Highways na wo ye cocoa roads bebre bia hoka more than our friend say 21 billion cedis na eda won so a won following the rationalization one Ministry of Roads see akano aba a little over 4 billion. Sakano so you see a year fee cocoa board for so about 4.35 billion no. Yeah they aban fa Sakano Ministry of Roads and Highways fa Sakano now want to also aye cocoa roads no. Yeah ne World Bank for aye in Shishaya about $500 million via say me boss say budget no of kan ho asem yeah they be acquire rural areas okay. No na the cocoa roads na ya GFE cocoa boards bebre no shim se ne be ya sika na betimi aboa na ya toa sa acquire no so de eyi eno nso afio enti si eyi sa roads cocoa roads liabilities no efi cocoa board so ni say yi sa 5.7 or so billion cedis kana eda won so kana wode Ministry of Finance ne the Bank of Ghana no if you want so cocoa board balance sheet no ebeye fair na wobetimi akọ market aje sika wobetimi ede atọ cocoa no in the coming season na aboyen enti obi nhyehyɛ ya yɛ ni bi na yɛkɛ na wɔtwe a yɛbɛsimu yi yɛbɛkɔ parliament na yɛde new bill no akɔ na parliamentarians scrutinize yɛtumi ayɛ nhyehyɛe no yiye na ayɛ nhyehyɛe a ɛda hɔ a obi ntumi nsesa ɛyɛ mmara yɛayɛ deɛ wobɛsesa na gye sɛ wokɔ back to parliament akɔyɛ yi na mmom yɛyɛ saa mmara no to hɔ a obiara bɛdi so na yɛn koko akurafo no nso ɛho asan wɔn na ɛde a little bit of predictability aba wɔn nnwumanom ebisɛ onim sɛ adwuma na ɔyɛ no ɛnyɛ dɛn a minimum of 70% of FOB at the prevailing exchange rate no ɛbɛba ne hɔ exchange rate ya yɛsisi di n'anya ahoɔden si di n'anya ahoɔden no ne nyinaa wɔ nsunsuan so aboa yɛn akwan bebree mu ama yɛka yɛde akɔ fam ama inflation kora ba fam ebisɛ imported inflation na plays significant in young inflation and then nneɛma a yɛde fi amanɔne ɛba ɛsiane sɛ exchange rate no sidi n'ahoɔden apagya nti ama saa nneɛma no ɛboɔ akɔ fam mahu nkurɔfoɔ bebree a wɔkyerɛ nneɛma including fuel so obi ɛkyerɛ na me tank yi na me fele no 2000 ɛnɛ 1003 me tank ayɛma ɛne adeɛ wɔnom nyinaa yɛ good stories nanso ɛwɔ nsunsuanso the city na apagya no ɛwɔ nsunsuanso kyerɛ sɛ yɛ revenue kraa ɛyɛ dollar denominated no customs revenue ne nneɛma nyinaa ayɛ affected kokofo sika a wonya a ɛyɛ pegged to the dollar no nso ayɛ affected nti ɛyɛ world market price no ɛne the exchange rate no ɛna ɛde saa nneɛma yi aba nanso aban sɛ yɛbɛhwɛ
that's fine. My final question on a price no to farmers no and it's said what trim no world market price no aba from nobody could predict it at least by September last year na mo fixed price no na obi anim say January price no ebe tumble said atambo na no number 1 number 2 aban now so na wa one Ghana for edi nkomo se ne nhyehyɛ odi egu akwan mu ɛna ama sidi no ɛho ayɛ den aban agye abasobɔde bebree on that side inti se abasa world market price no akɔfom sidi ne nso enya ahoɔden na se aban hwɛ ne nkrataa mu se o subsidize a aban ɛbɛbɔ car why does government think say convenience say cocoa farmer minimum ne was a hit no in this case a buying 80,008 Ghana cedis every ni sika was anka onya so based on price amu announce say cocoa farmers no why does government think say e was a cocoa farmer na just a hit no
enye aban kwa na hit obia ejibi wanye cocoa farmer kwa na hit
na
obia bribia obia ni ho control the world market price no
yes
and ediaba
yes
inti aban hyehyɛ awan ne say cocoa na kana ye beto no
yes
yemma 90% of FOB price and enko farmer ho kana na nke 70% o
yeah but 90% no is still 1,000 Ghana this lower
inti yes cocoa farmers are efe na wo beton won cocoa no wonya price na wonya no into cocoa farmers are affected but they are made partly say enye won kwa na take hit aban coffee $150 million e dey ayenti aban to take hit
yeah but
so take hit ni bi say sika na nka kakra aka won ho a wo dey ye ada niema no so and also ya teso enti ya share burden no se ne be ya obia befa nkakra atra say you seek assembly in such a way say you betimi afa ni nyina na the burden on cocoa board ne farmers nyina ya fa anke be now so obc ya kasi yes ah na che say sika anke de be lorry kwan ene ye be jai ne de abaye we sika anke de be school dan ene ye be jai ne de abaye we sika anke de be clinic ene ye jai ne de be we enti na ya che burden no se ne be ya cocoa board also sika no esonte aban also per kakrabra cocoa farmers are monso mo ye enye obia fault price na nke wono sesi a ebo na bafam nti so na nti burden sharing say be ya ahoto beba
calculation based on 70,000 metric tons aka mo betono say offer 1008 na every sono e de multiply 70,000 na amount be 76 million Ghana cedis.
I'm not sure of that because the 50,000 metric tons no at the $150 million and I don't know the basis of a calculation. I'll have to get my calculation of the amount.
Yeah, the basis now say honorable. So what 3,670 no what 2,500 ni every mois. The Ebeka no 1,038. In the 1,038 any the difference between the old price and new price now and the abaya.
No, you are doing a simplistic calculation.
Okay,
if you say even the old price,
yes.
You're boka at that price.
How so?
You cannot only look at the difference between the old price and the current one, even at the old price, if you give me time, I can do that calculation and share with you.
Yeah, but the old price,
you'll be understating the actual loss now, Abano.
Yeah, but honorable,
if
old
you give
price,
me a little time, I can work on the calculation and share what the actual loss will be. Looking at the current world market price
and
the current price. So I'll share with you. But the point I was making is burden sharing. We are not shifting all the costs to the farmer. And until I hear those adjustments, say cocoa board also fedi, I buy also fedi, now cocoa farmer also fedi. But the point, an important point, when people say I buy you should know that something must give. I buy any sikabia yen allocate there's a sika way there, Bribia Naso, your budget na no. Ye extra revenues na ye binyano X amount. Niema way near this sika ni na ebeye. And so cram my bebo busia edi akaho edi aye. Into the moment I bribi say besi na SSA coffee sika na SSA share near my ye pese no. Ye pese ye a 1,000 kilometers. And ye quite also and 800 instead of 1,000. Ye pese ye see 2 are dying, they 200. And ye so near see 180 and now 150. And see BB will give way. And unti I buy a shan see okay. And young coffee this amount, young kati baby kakra and cow. Now cocoa board also sika bamohono, monso monteso na ye mass 90% instead of 70% and call of FOB and call farmers no ho. Now going forward no, you put in permanent arrangement ebema cocoa farmer no enya prices will be there akosro. Then me say do sa na price abafem na also abafem into one so yete so kakra na wetimi ate ase e say yewo osutobre na yewo opebre into obia be plan na niema say osutobre ba mi hu se na ameye me niema opebre ba na hu se na ameye me niema enti obi se obi sha na eno enti me da se me da tie fo ase yefi ase na ntia eso jaman fo enti uni mama mrelo se me tia eso jaman fo na me tia na afrakoma okukuduru fo afrakoma me me da be eye ni 80th birthday na ye ko akodi ni birthday no strongo enti me mano happy birthday in advance me tia obi a me da mo se
that's honorable that's bibia na ye be say di nkomo bio why that's he's the deputy